Okay, all you devils, happy Friday. Well, we got a down day, down a couple of days here in the markets. So not panic time, but of course we all, you feel the drawdown, right? I see it in, my traditional accounts are down the last couple of days. Crypto's down, right? It just goes with the territory. Drawdowns, retracements, let's put them that way. Not something to fear, right? I mean, for a healthy bull market, it's important that it continues. You've heard me say this before. The retrace is what creates opportunity, right? We can't be buying up here at all-time highs. Okay, right? And I do this often, but just as a reminder, you don't want to. That's why you don't buy that. Same thing. Right? You can look here and say, well, what about that one? What about that one? Well, that's the idea behind why you wouldn't necessarily be an aggressive buyer here, because the anticipation is we're going to retrace. I mean, this is extreme. That's just a dramatic example. But you can kind of see the same thing happens down here, right? Sweep the low. I could just go damn near every major pivot here. We sweep the low. Up we go. So looking here, you say, well, maybe we got to go up and sweep that high, right? Maybe that's the next move, right? That may very well be what happens here. But as we look at this, and I have nothing on here, just price action, imbalances we might look at. I mean, it's hard not to see this 3. I mean, it's not this. I mean, that is what we have, right? So it's not a matter of what you're seeing; that's what's there. Which would give you pause to think, okay, how as an Elliottian, how could that fit into a wave count? Well, there's I suppose the most bearish thought would be this is an ABC, but even in the finish, we don't quite get a clean impulse. So I think for us today, looking at this, reviewing, okay, right, we need to, we need to get concerned. Well, let's just take it one swing at a time. We'll get that on here. Right now we have a swing low, swing high, right? I mean, again, that's all the market can ever do, right? We're going to swing and retrace, right? Who's going to break this low, that high? That is the only question that, if we're breaking the low down here, if we're going to come down here, well then this could very well be an A, a B, and we're going to go into some sort of a flat with an expanded B. It's certainly possible. You can't say I love the finish here, right? Even that is like, oh, you're kind of, it's a force fit a little bit to try and get that into a clean 5. Well, how are you going to do it? 1, 2, you're going to have to go down to lower time frames, which is why I always suggest, but the only way, if you want to be out on the higher time frames, it's just you're going to, I think less deception of your own eyes, because oftentimes we have a bias and we want to see something and, well, okay, it's a little off there. But, as we look at this now, it's, let's consider some reasonable labels. If that's 1, 2, could that be 3? Well, of course it could be. Right, big extension in the 1, very little retracement here, just up, right? So that gave us that the first time new high. There's a shallow retrace. Then again, you know what I'm talking about. So no reason here to think, that this is the low that's going to break. That's 97. It was too soon to be thinking that, right? Okay, right. So now we're just retracing here. We're into this imbalance here. Potentially, you could see a bounce here, but it's not a place here, especially on a Friday with the kind of the sentiment being negative today. I mean, if you're dollar cost averaging in, it's pretty, keep the size small. But if you're looking for an entry opportunity, I mean, if it's a 4, let's consider that. Just put up typical locations for a 4. Well, if this is 1, 2, if we're going to end up with this is a 3, and we're going to have an unusual, well, for Bitcoin, it would be unusual to have this be the 3. But stranger shit happens, right? I mean, you can't go, oh my God, Bitcoin could never have a 1 longer. There is no never happened, can't happen. Retrace here to the 38. Okay, that's maybe. I mean, so if we did that, though, then you'd have to look at it and go, well, if we complete the 5 up here at 129, 130, what did we complete, right? And then, we'll have to reevaluate as to what this looks like as we try and stitch the whole thing together. I think we all kind of feel like there's continuity here between this consolidation, right? This is what the market does, right? We just move from one contraction, one consolidation, we expand, and what are we doing here? So these are somewhat similar, and then on a smaller scale, you've got it again up here where we get this contraction, this consolidation, and okay, so we're breaking lower today. How far does it go? Right? It's just, all you can do is use your tools and look for market reaction here. I mean, this is pretty harsh sell-off. So I'm on a daily. Let's go down to a 3 here, and I don't think this is a day to take any dramatic action. If you're long, again, I don't think you need to be panicky here. If you're short, okay, good for you. All right, you caught it. As to a reasonable count here, well, there's a lot of guesswork in there. Of course, we would like to see this start to stabilize here. I think the challenge is if we're going to call this a 1 and this a 2, right? If, right? Again, that's open to interpretation, right? I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying that's one way you could interpret it. If this is a 2 and this is going to be a 3 relative to that 1, 2, or it's going to be a smaller 2, well, okay. Where would we anticipate this to find some support, right? If I put it down here and just include all of these fair value gaps, well, this doesn't seem unreasonable. Now we've just gone under the 200, right? That's the 200. That's the God MA average of the EMA SMA, right? It's just a nice kind of a reference point. You'd like to see this, hold here. What's an alternate, right? Of course, this already is a bit of a challenge, right? So you might start looking at this going, okay, wait a minute, right? If this is 1, 2, could this be another 1, 2? Again, right? There's no Elliottian who's going to be particularly thrilled with the breakdown of that as an impulse. It's, the finish seems all right, but the first part, right, it looks like it's only 3, right? So then you might be thinking, oh, of course, right? As we've been looking at this 1, 2, 3, oh, this is just a big 4. Well, yeah, of course, could be possible, but you see the time imbalance between the 2 and the 4. With Bitcoin, again, it's not like that hasn't happened before, right? It does have a tendency to do that, right? Shallow 2s and complex and long 4s are not out of character for Bitcoin. So it's too soon to really call this anything here in terms of labeling, right? I'm just kind of leaving them floating. Let's see where we find a low. I'm assuming we do, right? Before we break 98. Could we be going that far? Well, if so, right? If we do that, then you would be back here thinking, okay, it's an ABC. If we're going to come down here and do something like this and break this low, right? That would be shocking to me. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but markets shock us all the time, right? You just never quite know. So you can't be surprised by anything, right? It's, black swan event, right? Okay, we can be surprised by that. But as we sit here just making a standard 38.2 correction, it's not time to break out the depends and really get uptight about it. But yeah, of course, we'd like to see it find some stability, here, maybe in this imbalance here. So we shall see. I don't think anything to do here other than ride it out. Now, here I've just moved over to the aggregate on crypto. So, right, so not exchange specific, it just aggregates them all. So 1, 2, right? I mean, this is the count we've been working off of. 1, 2. There's a decent looking impulse there. 3. Now we're pushing the time, right? You can see that. Right, it's the time. Right, look, sure would like that 50 to hold. Sure would, right? So because it's going to alter your perception here, right? If not. This is so very 4-like. Excuse me. Worst time of the year for people that suffer from allergies here. I'd like to see that hold, right? I'd like to see us, get a little kick out of here. Maybe not today, right? But we don't want this falling too much further. It's what the count would be. Jesus, right? Even if we think, it's an expanded B wave. How we're going to get this into some sort of a 1, 2, or 8. I'm still holding on to the 4 here. I think it makes sense, right? So there's a here, right? So if I draw it here, I know it's a little tricky in here. There's an A. Then we go A, B, C, D, E into a B for a triangle B, straight down for the Y. excuse me, for the C to give us a W, then an X, right? And then an A, B, C. Looks like we could pull this off here with a combo. Complexity, right? So no, clearly an impulse. Looks like a 5, triangle, right, slop, but triangle works. In for the C. Had thought, reasonable candidate here for an impulse for the 1-2 to keep going higher, but I think we can look at this as an ABC now with the new price action. 5, 3, 5 to come down for the Y. So we're going to hold here. Sure, we'd like to see that, right? I mean, if I go down to 30-minute, I mean, we're sweeping the lows. Now, sweeping the lows here is, again, that's, of course, we could keep falling, but that's telltale of what you'd want to look for at a low, right? With grabbing those stops. At the imbalance, you could certainly call this a little mini order block right here as we tap into that. Okay, right, we get a little kick here. I sure would like to see it. I think we all would. Anyone who's bullish long-term would rather see this hold here than... Again, we're going to go, if we're trying to go into a 1-2. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. This does not look like a, well, certainly doesn't look like a 2. It looks like a 4, right? So, all right, we get a little bit of a wait and see. I don't think we want to take any action here. Let's let the market wrestle with the news today and kind of the risk on, risk off sentiment here that's being processed today as the market sell off, right? Okay. All right. So with that said, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick with the same majors that I've been touching on, reviewing the last few days. Let's try and do that. Often I bounce around based on requests that I get or things that I see. Let's try and stay with these 4 or 5 major cryptos, and perhaps we'll get some benefit here from staying consistent week to week. So the next one I'm going to go to, of course, is ETH. So let's get over here and look at ETH. It doesn't look terrible, right? I mean, at this point, are we putting the 3 in here? Okay, right? That's not a disaster. It's not okay. Well, if that's the 3, right? You might have thought it would go a little bit higher. Well, when we've come, again, those telltale little signs. Did we sweep high up here? Yeah, we did. We didn't get up to these, but the path here seems reasonable to think we'd do something like this, where we're going to sweep all that liquidity, and 5 could be higher. Right? There's no telling. We don't. Let's see how far this goes, because of course you could be back here looking at this, thinking, "Oh my God, do we have another ABC into a WXYX?" Lots of possibilities here, but right now, okay, it's just here's the swing. Here's the retrace. It's all the market ever does. So not a reason to be panicking. Right? I know it's just human nature. Right? We like go. We want to go higher. So when the retrace comes, it's a little bit of a downer, but you got to get over that thinking. It's opportunity is what it is, right? You don't want to buy them when they're going up like this. You want to wait. The retrace is what you're waiting for. So this is not the time to get scared of it. I'm not saying just sit down here with limit orders. So let's look for some basing action. We, certainly on the daily here, we could go lower. Let's go to something like a 2-hour here. Wouldn't be surprised to see that low get swept. Right, just come down here for the 4, a little bit deeper. This all been realized. So what are we looking at here from the 2 to the 3? I mean, sooner or later you had to be anticipating. Oh well, if that's the 1, that's the 2, that's the 3. We're going to have a 4 now. Maybe in a ideally you'd have a sideways 4, so you don't feel the drawdown as much. But it's more typical that we'd come a little deeper here. Look, we had very sharp here. Maybe we'll stay flat here if we're going to see alternation from the 2 to the 4. Right? Nothing says we're coming down here yet. Right? Okay, but let's look for a base. Right? So maybe sweep this low here. That would be the obvious target. Right? Sweep that low. Imbalances here. Maybe the 4's down here. Where's the high probability zone for a 4? Again, just working off of history. Where do they usually go? 3,400. I might be interested in starting to nibble a little bit there, right? When we're retracing like this, the point is not to go all in just because we're retracing. It's to be strategic, right? If you think, okay, well, we're going to come to that at 38, sweep this low. Maybe I'll take a little nibble here, but being prepared if it rolls over a little bit more. Ultimately, you're looking for a good pivot of some sort to where you get the reaction you're looking for. Now I'm on a 2 hour, so maybe on a 30-minute, if I can get a nice little baby 5 to come out of here and then get that 3. There's no need to do anything emotionally based. Right? Just let it happen. Adjust the counts as they develop, and don't feel like retracement is bad news. It's ultimately good news, right, for a healthy bull market. Okay, that's ETH. Hang on a sec. Over to XRP. I'm watching this closely, as I've mentioned before. This is I've got a fairly significant bag of this. So okay, again, same kind of thing. Pretty clear on the impulse up here, right? So then 5, 3. Could we be done here? Well, it's not great looking, right? If you were looking for a nice clean impulse to finish this off, doesn't look like we're going to get it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Maybe you get yourself into a 1 here. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not likely to do it. Well, we've already overlapped the 1, so maybe you do it here. You're going to have to just wait a little bit here. We could probably squeeze in a WXY here. Remember with Elliott, you're often working backwards. So if this is going to hold as some sort of a 3, if we're going to come down here and get another 3, I mean, we could be done here. We could be. Right? Would surprise me, but all the ingredients are there, right? What do we look for? Right? We've got nearby liquidity sweep, and then we've got this liquidity sweep over here, right? But that happened over the last couple hours. So you've got all of those ingredients. Here's the little pop. Well, is that enough to get excited about? Oh. Sure looks like a 3, right? So where's Al in all of this, right? He's involved, right? So where is he? Right, that looks like he's pretty close to being involved there. All right, we're in the pocket. Yeah, you usually find them a little more precise. So it's a little bit of a, what did they do there? So there's not clarity, right? That's the point here. This is not a time when you're unsure. This is not time to be panicking. If you're getting into trouble with leverage, always better to take the loss before it gets worse. I know that's easy to say, right? It's hard to do it, right? You got to just eat it. But there's always going to be opportunity to reevaluate. Sometimes always better to just take the loss, deal with it, recover, emotionally over the weekend and psychologically. Okay, well, it didn't happen. And then reevaluate with fresh eyes next week, or, as we see the price action develop here, to give us something to suggest that we've got good lows in. We don't have that yet, right? Now you could certainly see a candidate here for a 5 to come down to finish this. All right, so there's the 5 that finishes, but 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. A little bit of wishful thinking there. See, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, right? You might be looking here, but you'd want to be doing it at a time when the broader market isn't selling off so aggressively. Again, it's just one of those down days, right? You can all read the same kind of content that I can as to why we're selling off today. I mean, it's a risk-off day. Okay, so XRP, I think. Again, don't feel like, oh God, it's down, so I got to take I got to take a trade here, or oh my God, I'm long and I'm giving back profit, right? I better get out. Again, it's what's your time frame? What time horizon are you trading on? If you're on the short term, right, you can be in and out 15 times here. What we're trying to see is get something to kick here, and then something like that, right? So maybe that might be a trade 7, 8, 9, 10 days from now. Let this happen. You don't want to try and pick the turn here necessarily. Could that be the turn? Absolutely could be. But let's let this happen to get a little more conviction. No reason to take any unnecessary risk here. When in doubt, just stay out. Let it show itself to when you're absolutely, old stereotype cliches, but wait for your pitch. That's not it. Oh, well, shit. If you see something there that you like enough to put money at risk on, go for it. I don't see it yet. I'd rather wait and get the clear 5 up here. I'm not worried. I'm not worried that it's just going to go straight. Could it? Of course, right? I mean, look at this one. Yes, it could happen. But you're trying to balance the risk and reward. Duh, right? Obviously, right? That's what you're trying to balance, right? Is the potential reward here good enough? how far do you think that's going to go, right? What are you hoping for here is a one wave. If there's a 1, there will be a 2, and the 2 is really what we're looking for. Okay, so that's XRP. Let me keep moving. Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm over on SUI now. I'm on Femex, right? It's our sponsor. Right? That's where I'm doing most of the trading here. Lately is over on Femex. Very happy with that exchange. Links below, right? I got to give them a little plug because they are very good to us and sponsor us. So I think I looked at this on Wednesday's live stream. Is what that's left over from. 1-2 into a corner pocket here. We have not realized our 80%. Okay, well, coming off of this, right, if indeed correctly labeled, and I think that would be hard to dispute whether we've got an impulse here, a little complexity here to get into that 2. So I get a corner, right? I get a corner pocket down here, right? And I know I have 80% odds that I get there. Now, 80%, as I always have to say, is not 100%. So what's the thing we want to be watching for here? A failure to get there, right, leads to trading principle number 4. Thank you, Dr. Alan Andrews. That a failure to get to the median line sets up a move equal to or greater than the move that failed to get there. So this would have to retrace more than 100% for us to be seeing trading principle number 4. But as it sits here right now with SUI, again, it's not... If you're here thinking 1-2, right? I mean, you see me say this all the time. If this is 1-2, well, we need a 1 here if we're going to go into a 3. So when the 2 comes, that's not the time to go, oh, fuck, shit, oh, man, oh, now I'm worried. Because that's what you were anticipating, wasn't it? Now, maybe you thought, oh, the 5 is going to kick higher here, right? We're going to do this tiny little 5 up here. Is it consistent with the kind of things that we look for, right, to suggest a pivot? Did we sweep the lows? Yes. Did we get a break of structure? Yes. What do we anticipate after a break of structure? Retrace. Right, so is it a clean 5? Pretty damn clean. I'm on an 8-hour, right? We go to a 2-hour here. That's a pretty good looking impulse. Even the 5, right? Despite it's a little skinny at the top, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sweeping that high to gather that liquidity and then coming down. Like it's literally out of the text. It's just right out of a trading playbook. One more, God, I show these so often, people get annoyed. Like enough with the break. But the one more example of why you that's not ever where you want to enter the market. Ever. I don't care if it goes 1,000 points higher. That's this because all you're doing is building a habit that it's going to bite you in the ass eventually, right? You can get away with it once, get away with it twice, get away with it 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't matter. Eventually, you're going to get spanked. It's just how it works, right? Again, I've been doing this for so fucking long, right? Again, it took me a long time to develop the discipline. The only place where you can buy breakouts is in the equities market, where you have earnings that are driving it. Here, crypto, no, you just can't do it, right? So because that's why crypto is so technical, right? And it's so, if you stay, see, that's why I'm trying to stay here in the larger coins here, where there's less just blatant manipulation. You get down in the meme coins and the smaller coins, yeah, you can get a hit there, you can get lucky. Maybe you're a specialist in trading the coins without any actual use case, right? Because then what is it all about? It's just about manipulation. And who's likely to get manipulated? You, me, not the big boys. They're the ones doing the manipulating, right? Or the people with enough muscle in there to move the market, right? You don't have BlackRock going into fart coin. No, you don't. I don't care what you think. You don't, right? I mean, it's all manipulation. So you're more vulnerable to getting your ass raped when you're in there. Right? So why I don't trade there ever. Well, that's me. Right? So, okay, so I got a completed impulse. Well, here's my 50. Why would I anticipate anything other than that? I've got a 1, 2, 1. Well, let's finish labeling it. Well, you're going to think something else? Why? Why would you be thinking something else? Just curious. Honest question. Why? Why would you be thinking? Right? You got. Oh, come here. Give me something. Right? You got a clean 5 off the low. 1, 2. I mean, thank you. It's setting up perfectly. Now we break this low. Different story. But we haven't broken the low yet. Right now, it's just right on schedule. So this is action time. Not right here, right now, but I'd keep an eye on this. Right? It's setting up for a nice entry down here. I mean, even just looking at the volume profile, right? We come down here, the low edge of value. Oh, right at the golden zone. Just saying, I wouldn't sleep on that. Okay, let me, oh shit, what do we got here? I think I've got Solana right next door. Oh, hang on. Here's Solana. There's more left over here. I looked at these on the webinar, right? You can see the same idea here. Well, I mean, this is left over from the webinar. 1, 2, 3. Is this the 4? We doing the 4? Where are we doing? Let's get this out of here. So where are we? 1, 2. Is this? Oh, let's get this. Oh shit! Let's get this off of here. Let's push this off. Okay. Do we have a candidate? Well, let's move this back. Do we have a candidate right here? All right. It's already pretty fucking close, right? 1, 2, 3. Right. I don't think we're going to argue with that. I think this was here as an alternate count. 1, 2. Could that be 3? Well, it's pretty tight here, right? We'd like to see that hold. Nothing says it has to. But right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's much like Bitcoin, right? The length of time, a little bit off. Looks like Al's involved here, as he usually is. Right. So literally, still amuses me, right? We literally split the golden zone right here, and then here's first target. We're gonna go deeper. Well, I sure would like to see that hold myself, right? Because I'm a Solana bull, right? Again, long term, am I worried about this crashing and going to zero? No, I don't think you should be either. But that's for you to determine. Would love to see that hold. In fact, I'm going to put an alert on that right now so I don't miss it, because that's going to change the count. What's a possibility here? Could we do a 5, 3, and then we're going to come down lower for a 5? We're challenging that again because, again, we have a corner pocket, which means I have 80% probability of getting there as long as this pivot, right? As long as this pivot holds, right? That 80% stays intact unless that low gets broken. So you've got a clean Elliott count, although it's getting stretched here. You got 80% probability. Panic time? I don't think so. But let's keep an eye on that, because that's closer to invalidating this count than any others. And I don't see any alternative in here. It's either 1, 2, 3 or it's ABC. Right? If this sweeps lower, you got an impulse here. You can't turn it into a diag. You got an impulse. You got a 5, 3, 5. You can't turn that into a. Well, fuck, you do whatever you want, right? But if you're applying Elliott Wave, you can't turn that into a diag. What you can turn it into is a B wave. Now, getting this into a, or fuck, I suppose it could be an X. It could be an X, although it's a little unusual for the X to go that high, right? So it's a little abnormal. I don't like to trade abnormal. What do they usually do? Well, let's hope that holds. We'll see. That's one. I'm going to watch that very, very closely. Okay, so how am I doing? 28 minutes. Okay, the other one we've been watching pretty closely. Well, there's two, the XLM and HBAR here. So Hedera, I still like this a lot. I see a lot of potential here. It's got a true use case. Can we get that one to complete here? Same thing. I got a corner pocket. Got a corner. One, two. It's not panic time. Okay, right. Did we double there? Well, that's a daily. Let's go to a 2-hour. Little sweep of that high, just barely, right? Just enough to grab any liquidity, right? For people that put their stops. Oh, I'm going to put my stop one tick over the high. All right, could that be it? Oh shit! I got to pull it back. Let's get on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then 2. If this is 1, 2, and then I got another 1, 2, well, where again, right? I'd say this all the time. Where do they usually go? Not where is it obligated to go? Where do they usually go? Wouldn't you be looking down here? Got a little order block right there. Imbalances on both sides of it. Well, this would be a reasonable spot to be looking to enter. Oh, probably that's too much gray. Let's put a demand zone on here, right? So, okay. On the crypto here, I'd draw a volume profile here and see how that looks. That'll have a little high volume node for sure because we stalled there. If you do it off of a larger section of the price action here, you're going to have multiples here because of that price action here. That's the one trade-off with crypto. You can't get a volume profile. But Okay, 1, 2. I'm okay. Come on down. I'd be looking to get long there. Again, not sitting with a limit order. I want to see a reaction down here. I don't know if it's going 50, golden zone, 707. Somewhere down here, I'm going to look for a reaction. When I see that, give me this. Then I can put my stop down here. XLM, Stella. I'm doing 30 minutes. Again, right? Could that set up any better? We've got the 1, 2 here, right? Where's, again, it's the 3. Where does 3 usually go? Where's the most common location for a wave 3? 161, 8, or the 175. We go right to it. I can't make that shit up. Right there, you go. Oh, 4, right? Oh, I got a WX hit the 50. Well, here's the algo target right above the 38 at a low volume node. Why is that not? Now it's getting a little. It's fat. It's a fat. Right? If right now we're going to come down here. Well, let's hope not. That's what the channeling would suggest. But if we put it here, I'm not going to be sad about it. Isn't that what? If you're looking at the chart, when it's at that 3 high. When it's here, actually, you won't be able to do it, but I should do replay, but it's just making the point, right? You can visualize in your eye. If you're here, you're like, oh God, maybe we'll get the 4, we could enter it. Now the 4 comes and you get scared. Scared money never prospers. Can't be scared in here. You certainly can respect it, how quickly it takes, but you can't be scared of it. That's why you wait for your pitch, right? And then there's no emotional decision. It's like it qualifies based on the criteria that I have for an entry. I can define my risk. I can see a potential target as a reward. Is that good enough for me? Right? Am I willing to risk that money for that reward? Okay. If so, well, I sure want to like it. I want to like the entry setup. Just a suggestion. Okay, let me pause there and let's take a look. I'll be back in a second. Okay, let's finish up here with a look at the S&P. I prefer to go to the futures because then I don't have the gaps. Well, we swept this low here, right? So we can't be thinking 1-2 extension. It does look like we may have at least a short-term top in here. Now, I've got the fib extensions here because as we've wrestled with this, we do have these wicks down here that make it a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you something here in a second. But if we go 1, 2, pick your 3. I mean, here, again, as I would often tell you, right? I mean, this is where they usually go, right? But that's a mighty small little 4. We're going to put it up here for the 5. Well, this should shock absolutely nobody. What do we do up here, right? Sweep the high. Now, if you go to this if you take this to a line chart, it becomes less difficult down here because if I push this off, you don't get the same mystery wicks down here. Like, oh shit, did we truncate here? Is that a truncation, or is it 1, 2, 1, 2? Because of the closing looking so much better, this 1, 2 looks better to me. I mean, that's where I would lean if I being forced to choose, given this is all wick down here. So 1, 2, 3 could be here, right? You don't have a lot of breakdown into it. It does look like something has completed up here. So let's go back to let's go to maybe a 4 hour. You can see this divergence here, right? As the momentum is weakening here. I mean, we hit valuations up here that are I don't know if they've ever been seen, right? Some of the highest valuations we've ever seen, right? And certainly the big tech players. Is AI enough to justify, this valuation? That has been the thought. I mean, that's the thought until it isn't, right? That's like they're spending so much money on the AI. When's it going to pay off? That's the question everybody's wondering right now, right? I'm sure you're hearing the same kind of dialogue. But as a technician, the only thing we can say here is that we have a new low here. Even though that's a break, that's a little change of character. So something deeper here is now not out of oh shit, I don't want that. So if we're going to go, if that's the little pop high here, you might have been thinking ABC here, but now with the sweep of that low, okay, what do we, 1, A, B, C before we get too, let's not get too crazy with it. Let's push this off a sec. Let me just get in there a little tighter. I mean, you're doing the same thing on your charts, I'm sure. That's just enough. It's barely enough. And that's just a free fall, right? Sweep the high, sweep the low. Now, could we start to retrace? Oh, let's go to a 15, see what that looks like, right? You can see it. So I have the ingredients here, right? So here's the little sweep, right? I get a little local sweep, and then I get something that's with more distance to it. So I'm getting double swept. This is so tight, right? You can barely see it, but it's just a tick or two. Sweeping that low, so it invalidates, any thought that, oh, could this be a 1-2, right? The one thing we can say with certainty now is it cannot be a 1-2. You could probably, let's see, can I get this as a 5 here? I think I can. Hang on a sec. I do it that way. Can we get into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Bring that down. Sub. Change the color. Just good habit. It's not great, man. You're kind of accommodating it there, because then you got this to deal with. Now you could say, well, oh, but it's futures, right? And Elliott said in leverage markets you can allow for a little overlap. Yeah, true. 1, 2, that's your 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little sloppy no matter how you slice it. So you got to approach with caution, right? Like you could, okay, well maybe that's the 5. Sure looks like an impulsive move down. 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like we're putting in the 5. So as we sit here, why would you think anything other than that? At this point, right? Now that could turn into a 1, 2. But right now it's too soon to do that, right? It's too soon to be thinking, oh God, the sky is falling. Not yet. So with that break of that pivot, what's the next pivot we got to watch for? Well, it's a long way down. And then if we're doing that, then you start thinking, uh-oh, are we doing a deeper retracement, which would not be in any way necessarily a bull market killer. If this is a 5, right, and we just swept, right, there's the sweep of the high. What do we anticipate? Retracement. What are we getting? Retrace. So if we were to do something like this, come back here to this unmitigated order flow, that's bull market just stays healthy. Where does it get unhealthy? Down here. I apologize there, my mute button sticks a little bit. They're always doing the bloody yard when I'm recording these videos here. I digress. I apologize. Okay, right. So something completed? Probably. Deeper retracement? Well, let's not forecast something deeper until we see what we get here. When does the retrace start? Let's go to a 60, right? Do we start to come back towards that B? I mean, the more shallow this stays, I suppose the better, but right now there's no way to identify whether that's an A or a 1. It's just swept the low. A, right? Right now you'd think A. Well, of course, that could be 1 of A, right? And A would be much lower, and we're going to go much deeper. Given, I mean, earnings haven't been terribly disappointing. I mean, certainly not. I mean, a few misses from some of the big dogs, right? I took a big hit in Coinbase, right? Because I had a nice meaty bullish position on Coinbase. They miss, right? Now I'm out, right? Take the loss. That's the name of the game, right? You position, you get a trade, you don't get the result, you take the loss. Right? Fortunately, it's just an option trade, so it's not a death blow, but stings nonetheless, right? Nobody likes getting, having their trade not work out. Nobody likes it. But it can't be a day wrecker, right? You move on, next trade. What looks good next week? This is, well, here, certainly from this low, let's keep an eye on the fibs. All right, how does Al deal with this, right? Yeah, I think no time to be taking action until we get a little bit more clarity, right? The market will reveal itself. What does it want to do? Okay, guys. 39 minutes. Okay, I'm going to wrap it there. I will be back next Friday, right? I'm going to be out of town for Sunday through Thursday, so no live stream, but I'll be back on Friday. Okay, guys, this will be, boy, am I curious to see where this all resolves. So next Friday, it'll be a good one. Okay, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you next week.